All right, let's talk about something that so many parents feel, but maybe don't have a name for. It's way more than just being tired. We're diving into parental burnout, that bone deep exhaustion that kind of changes how you feel about, well, everything. Does this hit close to home? That feeling of just running on empty. Like your battery is totally drained and you've got nothing left for your kids, for your partner, and definitely not for yourself. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know you are not alone, and you are not failing. So here's what we're going to do. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down what burnout actually is, how you can see the signs in yourself, and most importantly, what you can start doing about it, like today. Okay, first things first. It is so important to understand that what you might be feeling isn't just a lot of stress. Nope, there's a really big difference, and figuring that out is the first step toward getting the right kind of help. Think of it like this. Stress is your body's smoke alarm. It's supposed to go off. It's an intense, natural reaction to a challenge. But once the challenge is over, the alarm shuts off and you get to recover. Burnout, on the other hand, is when that alarm just never, ever stops ringing. It's on 24/7. And eventually, you just go numb to it all. You don't feel intensity anymore. You just feel empty. Burnout doesn't just show up one morning. It's sneaky. It actually develops along a pretty predictable path. So let's look at the 3 stages so you can kind of pinpoint where you might be on this journey. We're going to walk through stress accumulation. That's when you're still managing, but just barely. Then disconnection, when the numbness starts to creep in. And finally, the crisis phase. Knowing these stages is everything when it comes to figuring out what to do next. So let's talk about stage 1. From the outside, you probably look like you've got it all together. You're managing, right? You're coping. But inside, you are running on total overdrive, and you're never really recharging your batteries. Your to-do list is a mile long, and your brain is always 3 steps ahead. And here's what that actually feels like. It's that deep tiredness that a good night's sleep just doesn't seem to touch. It's that flash of anger over something tiny, or snapping at your partner and immediately feeling that wave of guilt, because you just want to be a more present parent. But here's the good news. Stage 1 is your golden opportunity to step in. And you don't need a week-long vacation. You need what the source calls micro-recovery moments. Seriously, just 3 minutes of deep breathing in the car before you go into the house. Or take a real look at everything on your plate and set one simple, non-negotiable boundary, like no work emails after 8 p.m., period. Now, if stage 1 is left to fester, you can slide right into stage 2. The disconnection phase. And this is where that emotional numbness really takes over. You're still functioning, you're doing all the things, but you're not really feeling them. Man, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? You're going through the motions. You're making the lunches, you're helping with the homework, you're doing the bedtime stories, but it's all on autopilot. The joy that used to be there, it's just gone, replaced by this weird, isolating sense of detachment. So what's the first step here? It's about getting honest. Stop just saying, I'm tired. Name it. Tell someone you trust, I think I'm experiencing burnout. And look for connection, not advice. You don't need another to-do list. You need someone who will just listen. And then you have to intentionally, even if it feels forced at first, create little spaces to find joy again. Stage 3 is the most serious. This is the crisis phase. This is when you've hit the wall hard. The whole system has overloaded, and just getting through a normal day feels impossible. This can show up as health problems, relationship breakdowns, or even just this overwhelming feeling of needing to escape it all. And I want to be crystal clear here. This is not the time for a self-help book. This is a medical emergency. You need professional help right away. And there is zero shame in that. It is a sign that you have been carrying an impossible load for way too long. So what do? You take immediate action. You call your doctor. You call a crisis line. We have the Samaritan's number here for the UK, but you can find your local equivalent. You reach out to family support services. And this is so important. You seek out therapy that understands your specific cultural background. Help is out there. You have to use it. That last point about culturally informed support, it's a really big deal. Because for so many parents, especially if you come from a multicultural background, there's this whole other layer of pressure. It's like an invisible weight that makes burnout feel even more isolating. This quote gets right to the heart of it. If you were raised in a culture that really values endurance, sacrifice, and keeping family business private, then admitting you're not coping can feel like you're letting everyone down, like you're betraying your heritage and all the sacrifices your parents or grandparents made. And this table just lays out the conflict so clearly. On one side, you have these heritage expectations. Endurance is a virtue, you don't air your dirty laundry. But on the other side, you're dealing with modern realities, raising kids far from extended family, under the microscope of social media. It's the absolute perfect storm for burnout. But here is the critical truth you need to hold on to. Burnout is a human response to chronic stress. It's universal. It doesn't care about your gender, your race, or where you come from. It is not a cultural failing. It is not a personal weakness. Knowing that is the first step to letting go of the shame. Okay, so we've named the problem, we've looked at the stages, now let's pivot. Let's talk about moving from just recovering to actually building proactive, long-term resilience. How do we get from a place of crisis to a place of courage? Well, the source material gives us this really neat tool called the Cusack framework. It's basically a roadmap. K is for knowledge, knowing what your personal triggers are. U is for understanding, recognizing your body's early warning signs. S is for skills, learning how to set boundaries and actually say no. A is for attitude, changing those stories you tell yourself. And C is for courage, just taking that first tiny step. And honestly, while all of those are key, that A for attitude, it's a game changer. It's all about challenging those toxic little lies we tell ourselves. You have to shift your beliefs. It's not good parents don't struggle. The truth is, my well-being is essential for my children's well-being. And asking for help doesn't mean you failed. It means you're being strategic for the good of your whole family. I want you to just let this one sink in for a second. Read it again. This is your permission slip to let go of all those impossible standards. Sustainability over perfection. That's the real goal. A parent who is well and present is 1,000,000 times better than a so-called perfect parent who's about to crash and burn. So, we'll end with this question for you. Don't think about overhauling your entire life. Just think about one thing. What is one small, non-negotiable boundary you can put in place today, right now, to start protecting your peace and reclaiming your energy? That right there, that's your first step.